Hey there, and welcome to the Daily Manchester United News Show. Let's dive into today's top stories. Manchester United handed boost as Casemiro returns from injury and has started training on the pitch. Manchester United have been handed an injury boost after the club announced that Brazilian midfielder Casemiro has returned to training on the pitch after several weeks on the sidelines. The 31-year-old suffered a hamstring in the Carabao Cup defeat to Newcastle United on November 1 and has missed all the 8 games the Red Devils have played since then. Man United have been far from impressive without Casemiro, but he is nearing full fitness and could return to action before the end of this year. Italian journalist Fabrizio Romano also shared the update on his official X social media account on Sunday evening, and manager Erik ten Hag will be glad to have the former Real Madrid star available in the coming days. Man United have won 4 of the 8 games Casemiro has missed, drawing 1 and losing the other 3, and they have largely struggled in the middle of the park in those defeats. They play Bayern München in their most important game of the 23-24 campaign on Tuesday, and the Brazilian is unlikely to be available for selection. Man United must win their last Champions League group game if they want to be playing in Europe after Christmas, and Ten Hag has to get his selections and tactics right. They play Liverpool afterwards at Anfield on Sunday before ending 2023 with league games against West Ham United, Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest, and having Casemiro available for those games would be a massive boost. He has already been linked with an exit in January or next summer, and he will be desperate to prove that he still has plenty to offer at this level. Injuries have ravaged the Man United squad since pre-season, and while that is not an excuse for their underwhelming campaign, Ten Hag would have fancied his side's chances in some of the games they have lost if he had a fully fit squad. Man United discussing triggering one-year option in Anthony Martial's contract. Anthony Martial's current deal expires next summer, and the club are thinking of triggering the one-year extension option in his contract, along with the 3 more stars, the likes of Victor Lindelof, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, and Hannibal Mejbri are also among the stars whose contract end in 2024 and who have a one-year option. The issue was recently raised during a press conference, and manager Erik ten Hag was quoted as saying, "When we have news about that, it's absolutely in our mindset. We are discussing things, and when we have news, we will bring it." In case of the centre-back, full-back and midfielder, a contract extension makes sense as they have performed to an acceptable level or have the potential to grow in case of the Tunisian. It makes sense to keep hold of the trio from a financial point of view as well, sell them for a greater fee in the future, as multiple clubs are interested. Keeping the France international makes very little sense, as very few clubs came forward for his services last summer. After his disastrous display against Newcastle, the manager again decided to start Anthony Martial against Bournemouth, and we all saw the results. The Frenchman, who is currently the second longest serving player at the club, has failed to live up his potential, and it's a surprise that he has lasted so long. The Red Devils need to offload him and bring in someone who can support Rasmus Højlund, something that the Dutchman had wanted in the summer. Fans have always had his back, but the striker has been largely inconsistent during his 9 years at the club, and it's time to start afresh for United in the strikers department. Italian reports believe Jadon Sancho prefers Borussia Dortmund reunion. Italian media has claimed that Jadon Sancho prefers a move back to Borussia Dortmund rather than Serie A and specifically Juventus. According to calciomercato.com, the Serie A giants believes that Sancho would prefer to return to the Bundesliga where he made his name. Ever since the Englishman fell out with Erik ten Hag in September, there has been a flurry of mixed opinions on what the future holds for him. The People's Person reported on Saturday that a German-based journalist, Florian Plattenberg, actually thinks a swap between United and Dortmund involving Sancho and Daniel Malin is unlikely, mainly owing to the fact the 23-year-old winger actually has a secret desire to stay at Old Trafford. The Italian media have a different understanding of events, however. They actually believe that Dortmund's willingness to include Malin in negotiations would help foster the right conditions for a deal due to the Old Trafford club's long-term interest in the player. Calciomercato laments. From the beginning, Borussia Dortmund has always been perhaps the main obstacle between Juve and Jadon Sancho. The Italian sports outlet goes on to assert Sancho has always had his first choice in returning to Dortmund, never the only one, but the first, yes, and now that the German club has taken concrete steps to try to bring Sancho home. Juventus had been emboldened by the English international's desire to listen to their pitch and Manchester United's willingness to do business to free themselves of the problem the winger's falling out with the manager has created. It has been reported here that Juventus have major interest in Sancho. Nonetheless, more recent reports tend to align with what is coming out of Italy in that the club feel a deal for the winger is becoming less likely. However, the focus of previous pessimism about such a deal came from potential cost and not the Dortmund effect. The website claims that the old lady have put forward a proposal of a loan which would see United pay two-thirds of Sancho's salary. While not totally discarding the deal, United are said to be waiting for better alternatives, most likely from Dortmund, according to the outlet. The case of Jadon Sancho continues to be incredibly hard to unravel, but as the January window approaches, some clarity on his future should be reached soon. Gary Neville believes Manchester United would be making a big mistake firing Erik ten Hag. Sky Sports pundit Gary Neville has come out defending under fire manager Erik ten Hag. According to the Manchester Evening News, the former Manchester United captain has boldly asserted that there is no way they should change him this season. This idea of sacking him is absolute nonsense, and I would not be in favor of that. This contrasts sharply with the opinion of Danny Murphy, who wrote yesterday that the club should sack the former Ajax coach immediately to save their season. Neville, on the other hand, believes that the problems at the club run much deeper than the Dutchman. The former right-back explained, I know people say you can't blame the Glazers for what is happening on the pitch, but yeah, you can. Yeah, you can because 10 years of failure and miserable recruitment comes down to the fact they have not got a sporting director or a proper head of recruitment in place. The pundit believes that such a lack of leadership generates a situation where managers feel they have to do everything themselves, and this contributes massively to the underperforming on the pitch. Neville went on to claim that if we were talking about one or two underperforming managers, then the argument to sack them might have more merit. However, this is not the case. A whole host of managers have come in and not delivered in the post-Ferguson era, including huge names such as Jose Mourinho and Luis van Gaal. The 48-year-old commentator lambasted the owner's record by stating they have spent £1 billion on the limit of FFP, £700 million in debt, £300 million going to other clubs. The bank overdraft is at £250 million and £300 million. They are £1.2 billion under. The former fullback also claimed that incoming part investor Sir Jim Ratcliffe has a real job to do to sort out the current malaise He said, "What we need is a change of structure at the top that will hopefully happen in the next few weeks. Hopefully, that will change the way in which the sporting project is looked at because you can't come in and leave everything as is." Man United showing interest in signing Jonathan Tah in January. Manchester United are showing an interest in signing Bayer Leverkusen star Jonathan Tah ahead of the January transfer window, according to Kicker. The Red Devils have had a difficult season by their high standards, and they are currently sixth in the Premier League and bottom of their Champions League group. Their defensive record has been a cause for concern, with 38 goals allowed in all competitions, and it's claimed that United could look to reinforce their backline this winter. A new centre-back is likely to be pursued, and Kicker claim that the club are interested in Tah, who has been pivotal to Bayer Leverkusen's strong start in the Bundesliga. However, a deal seems difficult to pull off in January. The German has an 18 million euros release clause in his contract, but that does not become active until the summer. Hence, United may need to make a significant bid to persuade Leverkusen, but Xabi Alonso's side could resist a sale as they prepare to lose key players in early January. Edmo Tapsoba and Kosunu are currently two of Leverkusen's back three. They are expected to be away on African Cup of Nations duty at the turn of the year. The Red Devils are currently in a tight financial situation, and they are likely to explore bargain deals when the transfer window reopens at the beginning of 2024. Stuttgart striker Serhou Guirassy could be a realistic target for the club, considering he has a low 18 million euros release clause, which will be active in the next window. The situation is different with Tah. Leverkusen are in a strong position to keep him until the end of the campaign, with his clause not becoming active until July 1. Tah would be a great signing in January with his physical presence and strong distribution qualities, but we simply don't see Leverkusen parting ways with him. The club are currently 4 points ahead of Bayern München at the top of the standings, and they would not want to weaken their backline amid their title pursuit. Tah has shown a fundamental desire to move to England and the Premier League, but the Red Devils may have to wait until the summer to land his signature. Manchester United linked with Manchester City midfielder Calvin Phillips. Man United have reportedly identified Manchester City central midfielder Calvin Phillips as a top transfer target, a puzzling move given the player's struggles to break into the Man City lineup. The Sun reported yesterday that United are monitoring Phillips closely after City manager Pep Guardiola admitted that he doesn't see a place for the 28-year-old at the club. The newspaper claimed that Phillips seems likely to go out on loan in January, while Man United manager Erik ten Hag would potentially look to sign the English midfielder on a permanent deal next summer. Back in June, the People's Person reported a rumor claiming that United could look to strike a deal for the City midfielder. He had also been reportedly targeted by United last year, while Phillips was still a Leeds United player. While Phillips' lack of playing time last season was listed as a major justification for his potential departure from the club, not much has changed for him this season in terms of playing time. In City's 16 Premier League matches so far this season, Phillips has only made 4 appearances, each of which has been off the bench. He has also only averaged 24 minutes of playing time in each appearance, showing how he is not considered to be a crucial player in City's squad. But while Phillips may not have a place in the City lineup, he could yet prove to be an asset to United, given their midfield struggles this season. Star holding midfielder Casemiro has only recently returned to training on grass after he incurred an ankle injury during the international break, while Christian Eriksen remains unavailable. Mason Mount also remains sidelined through injury, while Launi Sufyan Amrabat has struggled to impress at Old Trafford. Although Kobe Mainoo has shown great promise, it may be premature for Ten Hag to start relying on the 18-year-old so early in his career, especially given the pressure that would be entailed. while signing an out-of-favor player from a direct rival may be an unorthodox move. It's not one that's unfamiliar for United. Furthermore, Phillips could provide United with the much needed depth that they need in their midfield, given the club's extensive injury setbacks. Thomas Tuchel admits Man United are very, very good ahead of Bayern München visit. Manchester United host Bayern Munich in a must-win encounter in their last group game of the Champions League on a Tuesday, and both clubs will be looking for a response after heading into the clash on the back of heavy league defeats. The Red Devils lost 3-0 to Bournemouth on Saturday, while the Bundesliga giants also succumbed to a 5-1 drubbing at the hands of Eintracht Frankfurt to suffer their first league defeat of the season. Both managers will be desperate for all 3 points at Old Trafford, but Bayern boss Thomas Tuchel expect Man United to be on top of their game on a Tuesday. He said, "Yeah, true, I analyze them. I see a lot of individual quality, and I also see many, many good things. But it can happen like Man United seem completely in the driver's seat, like in Istanbul, and some minutes are enough to shake the whole thing up. Every defeat is about the reaction. There is no sport without defeat. It's a heavy one for us. I did not see the Manchester United game, but the circumstances show it's clear United need to win. It's set for a reaction from our team, and we desperately need one. This is what I see, but we also have our issues to solve. It's not about judging Manchester United, it's about analyzing them. And in the good moment, they are very, very good, and we expect them to be in the best shape. Bayern are already through to the round of 16 as Group A leaders, and while the next game is a dead rubber to them, they are unlikely to treat it as one. A defeat will end the Red Devils' European campaign for the season, as they are currently bottom of the group, but a victory will hand them a place in the knockout stages of the Champions League or Europa League, depending on the result between Copenhagen and Galatasaray. As we wrap up today's Manchester United news, remember to stay tuned for daily updates right here on the channel. Don't miss out on the latest updates, so make sure to hit that subscribe button and give us a like if you found this information valuable. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, and until next time, take care.